Good Sunday to you. Good Sunday. Welcome, everyone. I wanted to talk about an idea today. I'm not going to be on here very long. I have some things to do. So I wanted to talk about this idea of money exposure. Money exposure and which has to do with assets, your assets, and from everything from your stocks to lands to houses to vehicles to digital products to things that are virtual, as well as products like hardback books and things like that. So this idea of exposure, and so your money that's in the bank right now, it's exposed, it's not protected. And so this whole year, right, this whole year you and I have been putting and depositing money in the debtor system, whatever kind of bank you have, or this goes even as far as your CDs and your money markets, your money market accounts and your CDs. And I also just wanted to preface this to say that I'm not a financial advisor, and all these are my opinions and these are my experiences. So those who have money market accounts, let's go money market accounts for instance, let's go CDs for instance, how the banks want you to they offer you so much percentage for you to, or return on your money, to have your money in that account at the bank, right? And so it looks attractive, or it sounds like, hey, this would be a good idea, because where else can I make 5% on my money? Where else can I make 6% on my money, right? And so my remedy for getting a much better return on your money is getting a return of your money. And so these accounts, these money markets, these CDs and things like that, and even treasury notes and things like that, my advice and my experience would be this: why not put your money into an irrevocable trust account where it's protected, right? Because right now, that money that's in the CDs and in the treasury bonds and things like that, like, they're going to be taxed. They're going to be taxed. Whatever you make on that is going to be taxed. And so your money in those accounts is exposed, and it's exposed to being overtaxed. So why wouldn't you, if there's a remedy, and if someone has a remedy like a vehicle that is in your best interest, right? Why wouldn't you take that? Why wouldn't a person take that remedy, or take that out, if you will, so that you can protect what is yours and protect your posterity from others meddling in your business, and taking your hard-earned money and the things that you worked tediously at over your lifetime? Why would you leave that exposed to a system, right? A way of doing things that is like a leech, and that is going to constantly take, right? It's going to constantly take and find out 1,000,001 ways how to take and tax your money, right? Because when you think about it, there's only so many ways, and so many ways you can flip a dollar bill, a 5, a 10, a 20, a 100, to tax it, right? To squeeze something more out of it, right? And so, so the remedy for that is to become the creditor. The remedy for that the remedy and how I'm going to protect my money and protect my assets and things that I plan to leave for my family when it's time for me to go and meet Christ, meet my maker in the sky, meet Jesus in the sky, right? What I leave them, right? I don't want to be constantly and continuously leached and taxed, right? My money has been taxed over and over and over and over again. Your money has been taxed over and over and over again. Aren't you fed up with that? Aren't you tired of that? And so one of the ways is to increase your financial knowledge, right? So if you don't know something, if I don't know something, right, I'm going to learn as much as I can on a subject. So I'm going to go, and many people go to YouTube University. You can do that. You're only going to get so far with that. Many have went down the road, or gone down the road of, the systems, education, college, and things like that. And I went down that road for a little bit and found out that wasn't the way that I need to go. And so, that may be a road that you're down already. That may be a road that you're thinking about going down, and that's fine too. You have to do what makes the most sense for you, right? So today I'm talking about being exposed, your money exposure. I'm talking about your money exposure and your assets that are exposed right now. Because if your assets, vehicles, money in the bank, CDs, retirement, the stock market is not guaranteed. It's always going to go like this, and that's the nature of it, right? So another point that I wanted to make was how many, we talked about how many different times can you tax something, flip it, roll it over and keep taxing this thing called what they call money, which is actually a note, which is actually debt. How many times can you tax something that came from nothing, right? How many times can you do that? And how many times do you think you can get away with taxing something over and over again, right? That is not, there's nothing backing it. Back in the 70s and before the 70s, money was backed by, the dollar, right, was backed by gold. So something that is valuable, something that is inherently, something that everyone accepts, something that has been accepted as an exchange of value and a means to purchase things, right, for centuries, for generations, for generation after generation after generation, has gold been something that everyone sees as valuable. God, they call it God's money, and God put it in the ground, right? You find that in Genesis. God put the gold in the ground in the land of Havilah, and the gold in that land is good, right? So there's nothing wrong with gold. There's nothing wrong with silver. There's nothing wrong with precious metals. God put it there for us, right? And so it's this this man-made money. It's this man-made, just learned this not too long ago. You may have known this, I don't know. I'm learning every day. That, do you know what the dollar bill is made out of? Right? Anybody know what the dollar bill is made out of? So I found that the dollar bill is made out of cotton and linen. I think it's like 60-some% linen and a certain percent, and the other percent cotton. It costs more money to make the dollar than the dollar is worth. Imagine that. It costs more money to make the dollar, this thing called In God We Trust, that they put that In God We Trust on the money, and that this thing called the dollar bill, or called, the American dollar and all that has been so looked up to and so highly famed and things like that, is made out of cotton and linen. Cotton and linen, and it costs more to make this thing than the note is actually worth, and even that note is from debt. And so my discussion today is on your money being exposed. your money that's in the bank, your money that's in the retirement, it's exposed at any time. That 401k that's not okay, as Rick the Wealth Coach says, that 401k is not okay, right? Because it's in something, right, that can go like this one moment and go like this the next moment. So wouldn't it make sense to purchase something to gain where you can get the return of your money during tax season through an irrevocable trust? Being a trustee and becoming a trustee of an irrevocable trust, right, makes you the creditor and puts you in control of that irrevocable trust, which I have other videos that talk about the misconceptions of irrevocable trust, how some think that you cannot change it. You cannot make changes. Of course you can make changes. You're the trustee. Of course you can make changes. It's private. Of course you can. So I'm not going to apologize about being heated. I was just thinking about this as this information that I wanted to share with you guys today before I go in and see my dad, who is in the hospital. I wanted to share this, that it's high time, it's past time that we protect that which you have worked so hard for, which you have planned for. And I don't know about you, but I wasn't born on this planet, right, to just work, 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 hour work days and expend all of my energy and expend all of my time and have no feeling like you have no time for your family and you have no energy for things that really matter, right? Only to wake up the next day and pay that bill. Well, wake up the next day and the motivation is to pay the bill. And there's nothing wrong with being a good steward of what you have in your and what you've been, what is under your control, right? And what is your responsibility. But there is something wrong with the system that will tax the life out of you, and then you have no time and energy for yours and for what you love and for what you have been born with. You've been born with certain talents and vision, right? Certain talents and vision and things that you want to accomplish, right, in this life, and do as much as you can for that is beneficial and good for yourself and for your family, right? And so you want to have the energy and the time to be able to do that. And so one remedy is to become a trustee of an irrevocable trust, where you can now get all your deposits back from the debtor system. Oh, that's impossible. That's impossible. That's impossible, Jerrell. How can you do that? How can you do that, you say? Because of the rules, laws, and regulations of trusts, of irrevocable trusts, right? Because of the laws that have already been set up for trusts. I'm not talking about a living trust. I'm not talking about a spendthrift trust. I'm not talking about all the other types of trust. There's a plethora of trusts that you can have created. But my question is, if you do have a trust, if those who are listening do have a trust, is it tax-free? Does it start with a 6 or a 7 after the dash of your EIN number? Is it irrevocable? Do you have a non-interest bearing checking account for that trust, for that irrevocable trust? If the answer is no to any of those, that's an issue. That's a problem, because your money and your livelihood is at stake, right? What you plan to leave for your family after you go is at stake. It's going to go to probate. Living trusts, just like the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, just like one of the most popular singers of all time, Michael Jackson, King of Pop. All his stuff went to probate court, because imagine yourself being, I don't even want to imagine myself in that situation, that scenario where I have so much money yet the people around me did not have the knowledge or my best interest in mind, and therefore all my money and all that I was leaving to my family was exposed, unnecessarily exposed to the media, to judges, to lawyers, to probate fees and all these things, all because I didn't have the correct the correctly structured irrevocable trust set up for my family and for my posterity. And the other thing is that the other misconception, I'll just touch on that real quick. The other misconception, guys, is that that you don't benefit from your trust while you're living. That is false. Of course we benefit. Of course we benefit from the trust, from the irrevocable trust while we're living, because of the rules, laws, and regulations that have been set up for trust. I just gotta park here, guys. Of course you're irrevocable. Of course there's benefits right now. There's benefits while you're living right now. And one of the benefits is that when I put money into the debtor system as the creditors due that money yearly. And just, I also wanted to point out something else, guys, before I go here, that I would not recommend, and I've heard of many people who have spent years. I know of people who have spent years trying to file the correct paperwork, or, you're trying to file the correct paperwork, but you don't have the correct irrevocable trust setup. You're trying to file the right paperwork, but you don't have a non-interest bearing checking account. You're trying to file the right paperwork, but you don't have a tax-free EIN number. So I wouldn't attempt to do any of these things unless I had the financial knowledge, the correct financial knowledge, right? And a team behind me who is expert at executing on these things, right? On filing the correct paperwork, on having a tax-free EIN number, on having a non-interest bearing account, on having the correctly structured irrevocable trust, right? And so you have to do what's in the best interest of yourself and your family. I know I am, and I know I have, and I know I will continue to. And so on all my social media platforms, guys, on YouTube, as well as on LinkedIn, if you go that route, as well as on Facebook and Instagram, I have the opportunity. My partner and mentor, Rick the Wealth Coach, has given you and those who are watching the opportunity to come to a 5-day financial IQ challenge to up your knowledge and up your financial game, right, in this area of becoming a trustee, if you so wish to, and having an irrevocable trust created for you, if you so wish to. And you can click on the financialiq.groovesell link, right, somewhere on my YouTube channel. You can go into where there's other links, as well as you can go into the community center and find it out there. Click on that link, and there's 3 levels that you can come in at, guys. 3 levels. It's being held actually the 30th, the last day in September, through October, 5 days. 3 levels you can come in at. Come in at any level. I wouldn't care at what any level I could come in at, so that I can get the knowledge and get the instruction and get the learning that I need to be able to set myself up today and benefit from today, this irrevocable trust, as well as when I pass, I'm going to leave everything that's in the trust probate free, not going to probate, not being unnecessarily taxed, and put my family in a better position than I had as I was coming up. So if that interests you guys, go ahead and check